Hey, what's up, critical thinkers? Welcome into week 3. First of all, welcome back to everyone who is staying with us, getting into the flow of things, and welcome in to everybody who is joining us. Please stay in touch as for everybody, whether you were here from day one or you just started over the weekend. Stay in touch as you need help with understanding, clarifying, navigating the Canvas classroom. We're just getting landed here and we're taking off running with our course materials. So stay in touch if you need any support along the way. Week 3 is all about elevating your viewpoint and elevating that personal opinion and personal connection to the topic. And we will do that by looking at some key phrases for academic learning. First of all, sort of defining and planning our arguments according to the rhetorical situation, which is kind of like this understanding that meaning is created in connection, in relationship between the author, their purpose, the context that they're working in, and the audience that is receiving their work. We'll also learn to compare academic research and writing to analogies about joining a conversation, entering into a community, or as I like to say, taking your seat at the table. And all of that is about lifting up your personal viewpoint by attaching it to the larger context. We will also learn how to define and use some common ingredients for academic writing. So for some of us, this might feel like review, but I personally think it's incredibly valuable to always be going back over the basics, because as we learn and as we grow, we can understand those basic ingredients at a higher level. So we're going to dive into creating paragraphs that are structured with ingredients like topic, sentence, claim, supporting evidence, and extended analysis commentary. We're going to build on top of that by learning how to recognize, define, and actually use features of persuasive writing. So we'll tap into ethos, which is all about using credibility, evidence, and expertise. Logos, which is all about creating your argument along the lines of a pattern of logical reasoning. And pathos, which is all about connecting to the emotional level of things, appealing to feelings, beliefs, values, etc. And then finally, we're really gonna like the overall umbrella, I guess, is imagining how your topic and your views about your topic fit within larger conversations within a larger community. So that's kind of our overview, just getting warmed up for the week. We have, as always, plenty of assignments. So we'll begin with our Emojify Padlet warm up. Then we'll have a space for reflecting and reviewing from last week. This is not an assignment that you need to turn in. It's just a page in the module that sort of says, these were the key ideas from last week. Look at your notes and see if you can understand those key ideas. And it's a learning point for you to say, okay, I got it, I'm ready. Or actually, I need to reach out for more support. I need to review that learning material, etc. So don't skip that part just because there's nothing to turn in. Then we have learn and practice activity, where we will build a paragraph together step by step. I think we're going to touch in on expressing your viewpoint, your connection to the topic. And then we have a discussion for the week. So by Tuesday, I'd like us to post our first post in there, where you're kind of saying, this is my topic, this is the perspective I'm bringing to it. Who can share with me alternative ways of looking at this? Also, we have a lesson. And yes, I realize that for most people, unless you're our learning leaders, Aisha and Xiao Xiaolin, for most people, there's nothing to turn in, but I highly emphasize the importance of taking the time to watch through that lengthy lecture. I do realize that the lectures in this class are long, but it's not an entertainment media class. It is a deep thinking, critical thinking, and writing class, and we have a lot of big ideas to impart. So please take the time, set aside an hour that you can watch through that lesson, taking notes. If you don't have an hour, think to yourself, okay, maybe I can break this up, do one chapter, another. Since the video is posted on YouTube and it's sorted along with chapters that you can navigate through. But don't try and skip it. Don't just try and watch the whole thing on 2x speed and think that that's enough. Give yourself time. Remember, we should be spending about 3 to 4.5 hours working through everything listed for Tuesday, 3 to 4.5 hours working through everything that's listed for Saturday. So I'm giving you time to do these assignments well. And then also Tuesday night, our discussion leaders, Dante and Macy, please post your discussion by Tuesday night so that your classmates can begin working on their responses throughout the rest of the week. After you close the chapter on that one, we have another learning session, which is due on Saturday. It'll begin with review and check-in. Again, that's optional, but please don't skip it. Give yourself that time. There will be an assignment and a reminder to engage with discussion leaders. And don't just pick the first one that's linked in the module. Take a look at both of the discussion topics and then choose which one you like. And then also remember to go back to the gathering alternate viewpoints discussion and respond to your classmates by providing some alternate viewpoints for them to start considering. Support hours on Zoom, grab your lunch, come and chat with me. Then we have our reading, chapter 3, which is elevating your opinion into an argument. And everybody is expected to read, take notes on their own, and leave at least one annotation in the hypothesis tool. And your annotation can be, calling out a line that you like, an idea. It could also be responding to something somebody else has already highlighted. So you'll get credit no matter what you put in there. So a shout out to Aiden, Macy, and Maya for being our learning leaders for chapter 3. Get in touch with me if you need support with that. And then we have a writing journal that we are working on throughout the week. This is going to give us space to have rough drafts of paragraphs about our personal narrative, anticipating diverse perspectives, and also foreshadowing that, proposing that rhetorical situation. I think I just didn't save after I added that at the end here. So I'll add it by the time you're watching this, you'll see it. And then I always recommend close your learning session by preparing questions, comments, thoughts that you need more support on, and go into the course Q&A to get your questions answered. What else? There's nothing else on our agenda. There's always these reminders. The due date is not the to-do date, so don't just rely on the Canvas to-do date to help you with this. Be proactive, begin as early as you can. Please reach out to me. I prefer class-related comments through the Canvas course Q&A discussion. That way everybody can kind of benefit from this information, and then I don't have to keep responding to the same email over again. But do reach out to me. I'll be checking in my Canvas inbox and the discussions in Canvas throughout the days, starting at 11 and ending at 3. I'm not just online that whole time. I have other meetings. I have the classes that I'm teaching in person, but those are like the time span that I am here for you, looking for your questions so that I can answer them. If you want like a breakdown of why we're learning what we're learning this week, there's always going to be things highlighted about how our learning for this week connects to those objectives. And then also, as always, you guys are welcome to reply to these agendas, to share announcements of your own, updates, comments, drop like a link to whatever it is you're listening to as you study. It's all up to you, but it's a two-way street, and I look forward to working with you all again in week 3. See you in there.